You are watching Forbidden Knowledge TV.
There were a number of radar confirmations by the United States Air Force in regards to strange objects that travelled over the Washington Capitol that evening. There are a number of reconstructed photographs about this event. One of the most famous photographs is the one that you can see, where the objects over Washington D.C. buildings. It was interesting to note that members of the 142nd Fighter Interceptor Squadron were sent up into Washington D.C. in pursuit of these objects, but they never actually caught them. As to where these objects went, we just simply don't know. They vanished off radar and from sight. As in many incidences, what was left behind was just a number of interesting newspaper cuttings and articles from people who saw these objects in the sky, didn't know what they were, and of course perplexed members of the public, not to mention perplexed people in the military. At 5:32 a.m. on April 20th, 1964, at Holloman Air Force Base, another incident was to unfold. Two pilots in a helicopter doing reconnaissance work was in the location of Holloman Air Force Base that early morning, and they saw three objects travelling out of the western sky. They were described as three shiny discs, and they shot by. Now, what was interesting is their count was that these objects separated. Two of them moved higher up in altitude and separated and became stationary, as the third object seemingly descended towards the tarmac airstrip of Holloman Air Force Base. They apparently recorded up to 600 feet of video film of this event. Meanwhile, back at the base, they were doing their own recording. Holloman Air Force Base Tower confirmed radar confirmation of these objects and the one that was slowly descending towards the tarmac. Video recording that took place at the base was said to be up to 800 feet of film. The object was seen to slowly descend to the tarmac, and from underneath the craft, its three legs were seen to have come out and landed. Meanwhile, officers and emergency vehicles were on their way, travelling towards this vehicle at the end of the runway to find out what this thing was. When they got there, they were surprised to see that a door opened and apparently two beings come out, certainly not looking human. Story has it that these beings were shorter than the average man, were grey in complexion, wearing grey tight jumpsuits, very tight fitting, and looked peculiar, like a rope design round the heads, slightly large noses, maybe something in their ears or something longer coming from their ears. And they apparently communicated with these beings. The story takes an interesting twist when it comes to the release of a documentary on July the 31st, 1974, known as UFO It Has Begun. It also has another working title, UFO Past, Present and Future. There's a small clip of this incident that unfolded at Holloman Air Force Base, but only a few seconds. You can clearly see from the footage that we have the object descending slowly towards the tarmac with the mountains in the distance. Up further in the sky, which you cannot see on film, were another two of these objects stationary, as if on looking or looking out. The rumour has it is that this was a considerably lengthy piece of footage that was provided to the people making the documentary. Taken in consideration, this documentary is the only one that's ever been officially sanctioned by the United States Air Force. Interesting. The footage in question was said to have come from Holloman Air Force Base and was submitted to the documentary filmmakers as part of a sequence to be put into the documentary. It was supposed to show the UFO descending, landing onto the tarmac, and of course this meeting taking place, several pieces of film, maybe some photographs, and so on and so forth. One of the most interesting things is the reasoning behind why this piece of footage might be released to people making a documentary. Well, the story has it is that Around about that time, they were considering a full disclosure program. And there was said to be some type of project, be it called, I think it was called Project Sideshow, I believe. There are numerous different references to this. And it was said to be like a show that would go from place to place, from town to town, from city to city, and would provide information, photographs about the UFOs, about the ETs, about how long they've been here. In fact, it was a kind of full disclosure program. And I don't know if that's true or not, but what is interesting is that the story has it that this piece of footage was going to be put into this video and was going to be part of this event. And also, in other words, people who couldn't go to see this sideshow or wanted to find out more could see the information within a video. And at the last very moment, I believe a general had decided this isn't right, we maybe shouldn't be doing this, and pulled the footage. And of course the documentary, and of course the people that made the documentary were obviously very happy. And the United States Air Force just gave them a few seconds of the actual UFO, of that original footage, just to put in there to keep them happy. If that is the case, then we may have been on the verge of a disclosure then, back in the 1970s. There's also the question why the United States Air Force would officially sanction a UFO documentary film. That's suspicious in itself. Nevertheless, though, it's an interesting story. We don't know about the truth behind it, but one thing is for sure is that that is real footage and is said to be a real UFO. And we can see that descending, and it matches up to the mountains of that location of Holloman Air Force Base, which took place in 1964. This can't be confused, of course, with the alleged incidents that took place with President Eisenhower on February 11th, 1955 at Holloman Air Force Base, where he was supposed to have an alleged alien encounter or meet up with aliens. If that is the case, then the UFO that landed at Holloman in 1964 isn't the first. There's been ones before. Or if it's just a fabricated story, it certainly would make sense, because when we listen to the audio from the official audio commentary from the Holloman Air Force Base military officers, we don't get any references such as we've seen, or here's another one, or this has happened before, or anything like that. It seems to be that they are all startled, all surprised, certainly a security issue. They're trying to find out what it is, what's going on, and it's a fascinating piece of audio that you can listen to. Edward Air Force Base has also been privy to UFO phenomena. If we look at an incident that took place in October the 7th, 1965, a squadron of UFOs was seen over the military base, which caused quite a stir. Military jets were launched, confirmation between other military establishments where there was communications taking place trying to figure out what the hell these things were, and they were seen for a considerable length of time, I believe up to almost 6 hours. Shows a strange object which seemingly looks to be changing shape. A very unusual craft which was recorded for a duration of time on high-speed camera film. Let's have a look at the video.
This is the tower in Edwards. We have an object now over the field. He is right over the field, right over Edwards, moving southward fairly rapidly. And this thing also has, I can make out red and white flashing lights. And the captain at Step 1 has confirmed this. He can also see this. He can also see this. Does it make any sense to you what it could possibly be? No, we're in as much as dark light as you are. San Pedro is painting them, 3 targets, and they're all 3 around 9,006. San Pedro's picking them up at 9,000. Roger. What about Boron? Boron, we're working with them to see if we can get them on them now. But those 3 little dots out there, and I'll say that there are 3 definite objects. It is not weather, it's not clutter. They see the objects, but they don't see, they're not aircraft. No, No, they can't tell what they are. Scramble on. You gotta scramble on them.
Seems like UFOs have a close connection with many military bases around the world. Maybe that they're monitoring our technology or interested in our development. Nevertheless, though, an incident that unfolded in November 1994 over Nellis is one of the most significant pieces of military video footage of a UFO ever captured. The Nellis Range is situated about 40 miles northwest of Las Vegas and comprises around about 4,700 square miles. Mostly that's desert. And approximately at 4 p.m, travelling from the east came an unusual object that was first picked up on radar 24 miles out heading towards them. By the time it reached the facility, it had slowed down and was moving erratically. The camera footage that you're about to see is taken from that event, and you can clearly see that the UFO, whatever this object is, seemingly looks to be changing shape. This is by far one of the most significant pieces of video footage said to be of military origin ever released to the general public. It does clearly show an object, and it's electronically stamped and tracked. There's also audio dialogue that goes with it, hand in hand, of an event that they have yet to confirm exists. Nevertheless, though, this information was leaked to the general public and it's fallen into our hands, and yes, it is quite an incredible piece of footage nonetheless. UFOs continue to be seen and video recorded in the vicinity of the Black Mountain radar domes, which is just on the ridgeline heading towards Nellis Air Force Range. These objects have been seen as bright colours, flashing, disappearing, reappearing, sometimes in quantities of 2 to 4. Even people have recorded structured craft that they cannot identify. We don't know if it's some type of exotic aircraft that's being test flown around the Nellis Air Force Range, which is a possibility, or it is in fact something else. Identifying UFOs has become somewhat difficult as we advance in aviation technology and capabilities. New methods of investigation and research in regards to aerial phenomena can be found in a new course known as the UITC, the UFO Investigators Training Course or Reference Guide. It's the most comprehensive study program to date. To find out more, please see our link in our comments section. And for now, keep looking up and keep those cameras handy.
You are watching Forbidden Knowledge TV.